I wonder what that is. So.
No.
We are live. Hello.
Hello. How's it going? So before we get started, just want to say we're going to be on about a 1 minute delay. We can see in the chat here whether people have joined. So we're going to wait just a second and see if we've got a couple more people coming on. But I'll say this a couple of times, we will be on a 1 minute delay. So you can ask questions in the chat feature to the right of the YouTube video there. But we're going to get those a little bit behind. So we may have already moved on by the time you ask those questions. But we promise we will get to those. There is a lot of information that we're going to go through in this call. We'll send a few important emails that will provide specific arrival instructions for the airport, an agenda for the few days, addresses, and much more. So anything really important we'll also send in writing, don't worry. So before we get started, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Liza. I'm going to be the experience leader. I've spoken to most of you as you guys were thinking about joining us, and I'm really excited to have you. A little bit about me. This will be my 5th retreat that I'll be leading with Unsettled, and Medellin is my personal favorite spot for it. I've been in Medellin for about 4 years, and I'm really excited. It's going to be a really great month. We've got a lot of fun stuff all planned. I'm excited to even just start talking about it.
And hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Judy Andre. It's just Judy will be fine, and I'm going to be your location manager / your local guide. I'm very excited as well, as Lisa mentioned, to have you guys here. This is I'm actually quite new to the company. This is will be my 2nd experience, so I'm very wide-eyed, very excited, very eager to see you guys. So. Can't wait to get started, really.
So I'm going to be referring to a couple of notes because, as I said, we've got a bunch of information to go through. We want to make sure we get through it all. So the agenda for today, we're going to go through our shared purpose. We're going to go through arrivals. We're going to talk about accommodations. We're going to talk about work and co-working. We're going to talk about a few activities and things to do just to get you guys excited for what's going to be coming up this month, get you thinking about what sort of things you really want to prioritize. And then we'll talk about communication and next steps. But before we move on to the agenda, we wanted to also have a little bit of fun because Unsettled is really about people. And so we wanted to tell you a bit about some of the other participants who will be joining you. So our group is 23 people. The average age is somewhere right around 33. We have a 60 to 40 women to men ratio. And we have people from 13 nationalities. So those include, we have people from Estonia, from Canada, from Germany, from Israel, from the US, from Russia, among others. So obviously that wasn't 13, but it's quite the diverse group.
Excellent.
Really excited. Yeah. We also have people from a number of different backgrounds. We've got some social media and digital marketing experts. We've got some entrepreneurs. We've got some consultants. We've got some bloggers, including culinary and coffee bloggers. So they'll be the ones you want to hit up to, take you out or tell you which cafes or which restaurants they recommend. I'm sure they're already doing their research. And we also wanted to share is in that work, live, adventure survey that we've asked that you all fill out. We've gotten a couple of awesome answers so far with the spirit animals. And what we've gotten, a couple of the ones I wanted to just mention, we've got a caterpillar on the cusp of becoming a butterfly, as well as a couple of butterflies. We have a walrus.
Right.
We have a hyrax, which I had to look up what that was. It's also apparently called a dassy, and it is a herbivore rodent that apparently shares some characteristics with elephants. So that'll be a really interesting one to see. We have a couple of birds and a monkey and a dolphin so far. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the rest of your spirit animals. So please do make sure you fill out that survey. We'll be sending you a couple of reminders about that as well. So that's a little bit of an overview of our group. To get you guys excited to meet each other. As we get closer, we'll be putting you all in contact with each other. We'll send some more information and connect you all on Slack a little bit later in the this month, and I'll talk a little bit more about that a little further on in the hangout. But before we get to those sort of details and logistics, I wanted to go over a little bit of our shared purpose for this month. So you've heard now that this is a diverse group. We've got all kinds of different spirit animals. We've got different professional backgrounds. We have people coming from all different places and with all different priorities. But the one thing that we have in common is that this month is about each one of us. So the Unsettled experience is about you. And it is a co-created environment. So we are each contributing to this month and to this experience. And it's going to be totally unique in comparison to any of the other retreats that we've led, because each of you make up such a significant part of what this experience really is. And we're all coming together for this month to break out of our routine. That's sort of our main shared purpose. Whatever our priorities, however they may differ, whatever they might be, we're all coming for something a little bit different, to live life a little bit differently, to be a little bit more adventurous and perhaps a little bit more bold. So we want you to think on that as you're sort of getting prepared to come here. Do a little bit of reflection. We'll be doing a bit more when we first all get here in orientation, but we wanted to just set that tone because this is something that's really important to what this month is going to be for all of us. So now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the details, because I know you guys are all getting eager to come. Many of you have already booked your flights and some of you are in the process. So we're going to talk a little bit about what sort of the logistics are going to be for the first few days and for some of those and to get you guys all started. So Yuri, if you want to talk about it.
Yes, of course. So again, just to remind you guys that we are in a 1-minute delay. If you do have any questions, please write to us in the YouTube live chat. We will try to answer them as we go along. So just to remind you that. When it comes to airport pickup times, I will have to call Jerry Maguire. So you need to help us so we can help you. So if you do have your information already, your arrival, your times, please fill out the form that we're going to send to you. As soon as the sooner you can do it, the better it is, because we can organize everything for you. If you are arriving before the set time, which is the 1st of September, then most likely your driver will take you to the hotel that you chose to stay. If you arrive on the first day, then most likely you will come to the Global Express office, and then from there we'll take you to your destination. So you're going to be fine. People will be waiting for you regardless of what time you arrive. There's a delay, please don't worry about it. Just make sure you contact us. You have my WhatsApp and my number. I will be in contact with all of you, every single one of you, letting you know. And also, just to reiterate, it's important that you fill in the application form. If you arrive on the second day, maybe your flight will arrive the day after. Again, you will be taken straight to your accommodation. If you arrive on the first after 5 o'clock, maybe your flight is a little bit late, and most likely you won't come to the office. You will go to your accommodation. So don't worry, we'll have your bags.
Yeah, exactly. So, and just a reminder, we will send all of this information in written form in an email as well. One thing to know, Medellin is a tiny airport, so you're not going to get lost, you're not going to get turned around. Most of you will be arriving in the international arrivals terminal, and your drivers will be waiting just outside. If you are coming if you're coming through Bogota, if you're coming through Cartagena, then you will have to when you come out of the Nationals terminal, which there are actually 2, you just turn to the right. In either case, you turn to the right inside the building and you walk straight down to the end of the hall, and that will be the international arrivals terminal exit. And so that will be where you'll find your driver, just because you'll probably be coordinating with other people. You'll have a partner for the ride down the hill. And I always like to say this too for the arrivals thing, is that the airport is located about 45 minutes outside of Medellin, and it's a really windy way down into the valley. It's beautiful, stunning views, but if you do get car sick, make sure you come prepared and you have either your pills or your wristbands handy in your carry-on so that you can put those on for that drive down into the city, because it is it's quite twisty.
Yeah. And also please remember that sometimes it takes half an hour, 40 minutes to actually have the effect. So probably take the pill before that.
Yes, so just come prepared.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of questions about this as well. So orientation is officially going to start on September 2nd. We've designated September 1st as the arrivals day. We'll have people arriving all throughout the day, from early in the morning to late in the evening. So don't worry about that. That day is for you to settle in. That day is for you to, explore a little bit. But we don't have anything official planned. We'll maybe have like a dinner reservation somewhere for those who have the energy and want to join, but the actual orientation will start on September 2nd. That morning we'll have an orientation brunch where we'll go over a lot of information for the month, including a lot of the information that we'll have put in your welcome packets as well. And then the following day, on September 3rd, we'll be having our sort of big welcome dinner celebration. And that's sort of the first couple of days just to get you started. That'll be sort of the most of our orientation, and we'll be sending out a very full calendar of activities sometime next week. So we're going to sort of leave you with that orientation and send out the rest of those activities next week in the Google Calendar that we'll share with all of you.
So next we're going to just very briefly talk to you about where you're going to stay. So the neighborhood is called El Poblado, which is where Medellin basically started, 1616, quite a while ago. It's a beautiful area in town. It's located in the south of the city, and it's got tons of shopping malls, supermarkets, venues, live event venues, restaurants. It's buzzing with a lot of activity. There's a lot of people coming over, a lot of tourists to come over this way. It's very close to the metro station that we should be move around the city. The distance are relatively short, so you can do that. There's also a cyclovia, like a cycle route at night that on Sundays also come over around here. So it's a lot of things to do. It's beautiful green areas. It's a little bit hilly, so your heart will be thanking you at the end of the experience, for sure. So it's a beautiful area. I'm very excited to have you guys around this area.
All the best restaurants and cafes too. Lots of different options for eating out or changing up your work where you want to work for the afternoon. It's a great spot. A lot of co-working areas, gyms. It's a really nice area. I'm sure you're going to love it for sure. And the apartments are all located within this area. They're all within about a 10-minute walk of each other. We've got them sort of clustered, so you'll feel like you have your own sort of little neighborhood. You'll get to know this area really well, have your sort of local spots. As the bedroom and the apartments are 2 or 3 bedroom apartments, mostly 2 bedroom apartments, but and they're all located, as Yuri said, they're kind of on the hillside. So most of them are sort of on the hillside of the valley. So you have nice views sort of out over Medellin as you're headed home or if you're in your apartment. They're very comfortable. They're fully furnished. You'll have, you'll have pots and pans and everything in the kitchen so that you can really feel at home. You don't have to eat out if you don't want to. You can invite us over for dinner. We'll have big family dinners and potlucks, or have cocktail hours at different people's apartments. So the idea is that it really feels like you're home away from home for the month. Definitely. Actually, just last night we had a fondue party. It was really nice. With some of our participants, it was really nice. It's a lovely apartment. I have seen them myself. Excellent amenities. Very well located. Some of them have gyms. There are a few things around, so it's for sure. Yeah, you guys are it's gonna be really comfortable. We want you to feel like you've got this community and this is your home for the whole month. And then the co-working space. We're obviously in the co-working space. You can see behind here the calendar for this month a little bit up on the board there. The co-working space is about a 10-minute walk or less from any of the apartments as well. And It's super centrally located. It's right on it's just off the intersection of a couple of main roads, which can get you to anywhere else in the city that you want to go to explore. It's close to a couple of different areas that have a lot of really nice different restaurants. It is in Poblado, so as we mentioned, but there's a couple of different, going in all directions. You can kind of find different spots to explore, to eat out, to have a break from your work. There's a tech center downstairs as well. You know, the staff all speak English and they're super friendly. So it's a really nice space. We've got a whole big open area for ourselves. We've got a small conference room for you guys to use that you can reserve in case you need to do conference calls or you need sort of a quieter space to work. There's a great rooftop as well that has really nice views of the sunset if you're working in the evening. So, yeah, we're looking forward to having you all here. You'll all come here straight, as Yuri mentioned, when you come in from the airport. Most of you will come here to sort of check in and say hello, and then we'll get you settled. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things we've got planned for next month? Yes, of course. Not too many. We want to have some surprises.
Just a few things that will happen in September. We have a lot of things planned for you guys, but also the city has a lot to offer in September. The tourist season is sort of starting to dwindle around here, so you probably get a better sense of what the city is like, and it's sort of normal season of the year. People are just doing work, and it's really nice. It's a different atmosphere. We have a jazz festival coming up, the 21st Jazz Festival, International Jazz Festival in the city. We also have some farmers market. We have opera season. We have a half marathon for you, those of you who like to run. I mean, half a marathon is not that much, but it's going to be an international event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll be there, so you know. Maybe
it's a hilly
marathon,
so it's a challenging one.
And we also have a book fair around September too. I mean, there are tons and tons of things, plus all the things that we'll be finding out and sharing with you, and all the things that you will be finding out and sharing with us. So
absolutely,
definitely, that's what we're looking forward for you to help us and tell us about the city as well.
And as far as sort of what we've got planned, as I said, we don't want to give too much away, and we'll be sending out a calendar next week as well with a lot more sort of information. But we will definitely be taking a weekend outside of the city, so you guys should all get excited for that. You know, we'll arrange the transportation and the accommodations, and that's always one of people's favorite experiences throughout the month, is that sort of getting out into another part of Colombia and exploring a little bit. We'll have a couple of different activities planned in different parts of the city as well to get you, because the valley is quite big and has very different feelings in its different sort of areas. And whether we've got a couple of different ideas, and we've got definitely some things planned, but for example, we can do some hikes, or we can do some exploring on that. We'll explore different neighborhoods, which Medellin, as we've talked about and as we will talk more about, is really in a process of sort of rebirth in some ways, and development, and really has some amazing social programs and things going on. So we have some of those things planned around that as well. So we hope you're getting excited. We haven't really seen any questions, but I feel like that can't possibly be the case. So we're going to take a second here to see if we can find where those questions might be, so that we can make sure that we've got those, we can answer those here, and take a minute to do that before we sort of wrap up. Let's see. Give me 1 second while we look at this question and mute.
By the way, just while we're doing this, the weather is going to be lovely. It's about 27 degrees Celsius, roughly 78 Fahrenheit. So, it's hot. Obviously, we do have a few showers, some torrential showers. Some of them are quite thunderstorms, are quite exciting, but make sure you bring a waterproof jacket, especially sunscreen. It's quite hot, as you know, here, but the weather is just lovely. It's just gonna be super nice to go out, to do activities outside, zillions and zillions of parks where you can do a bit of exercise, or jog, or run. So it's just going to be wonderful for sure.
Yes, and then as far as, I know sometimes there's questions about what's appropriate to wear. We do say that, people in the city tend to wear shorts less often. That's often because they're working. But feel free to, there's not very many restrictions. I think that like across the board, Colombians sort of tend to wear whatever it is that you know, whatever's that you feel most comfortable in. And since it is a very nice temperature, sort of that springy, warm temperature, you're fine without any sort of real layers. But in the evenings, maybe you want a little bit of a sweater, or you feel more comfortable in pants. But definitely.
But you want
ideal weather, really.
Yeah, it really is.
Questions so far.
We have a little hello from Unsettled. Hello. And we have Lena.
Oh, Lena, so we just did talk about the temperature.
Yes,
again, with the delay, you'll probably just hear that in a couple of minutes. But we have another question about arriving before the 1st of September. So if you get in before September 1st, we will still pick you up from the airport, as Yuri mentioned, and we'll get you from the airport to the hotel or whatever, Airbnb or whatever it is that you've arranged for your first night or couple of nights. Then we will ask that you get yourself to the co-working space around noon, more or less, or noon or 1. Again, we'll send these instructions in an email. And so you will have to get from the hotel or the Airbnb, wherever you are, to the co-working space, and then we'll get you to your apartment with your keys and your welcome packet and everything once you're here.
It's just important, sorry, for you to send us the name of your hotel once you have it.
Yeah, definitely.
So we can arrange that as soon as possible.
That drop off, yeah. There is a slot in that arrival survey for if you're arriving before September 1st, where you plan on staying, so that we can have that information just right away as well.
Also as a side note, it's important if you can help us with your passport number, so we can speed up the registration process. Some of the tours ask us for your passports in order to get you insured. So again, we'll send you these details, but just for you to keep that in mind. And you're welcome, Rim. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I'm not really sure, so my apologies if I don't.
Yeah, the arrival survey also asks for that you please email a copy of your passport to me. As Yuri said, that is important for a couple of different things, for a couple of different sort of registration things that we do have to do. So thanks for doing that. Any other questions at this point? Give a minute here and see if anyone chimes in.
While we do this, sometimes the internet might have some issues, just in general in the city, just things that we will let you know when you get here. But
like when it rains.
Yeah, when it rains and when it's quite windy. So there are things that, don't worry, of course we will give you all of these tips, but just to let you know, again, some of the things that can happen. Not everything is perfect, but sometimes it rains and the connection goes down, and little things that we will keep helping you with.
But in general, we have our own network within the co-working space. So the area that we're in has a separate internet network to the rest of the co-working space, and that is specifically because we want to make sure that you have the connection you need to get all of your work done. The co-working space is called Global Express.
Yeah, I think it's right here. Actually, I'm enjoying a lovely cup of coffee.
So that was one of the questions. It is called Global Express, and we'll send that address out as well, in an email that coming up with all of those arrival details.
Of course. And thank you, Farah, for the question.
Any other questions?
Seems to be quite happy.
I know. Guess we did a good job.
I hope so.
Going through all the info. Either that, or they're just processing it all, or it's that 1 minute delay.
Please don't be shy. We're here to help you. So you ask away. That's the idea. Is just to make sure that you have peace of mind. Of course, a few things will help you with, but ask anything that you want to know, and we'll try to help you with those things.
And you can always, of course, send us an email if you think of questions later too. We'll be here. All right, well, I think it seems like people don't have too many questions really at this point. So next steps, just so you guys know, I'll be sending you all an email the end of this week with a bit more information, both about us and about some of the stuff that we've talked about as well. I'll be sending more information sort of next week, and then as you guys come up on your arrival days. And so please do keep us posted with anything, if there's any changes in your flights or anything, or any questions that you have. And we'll be here preparing for your arrival, and we're really excited to have you. It'll be here before we know it.
Fantastic, yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. And we will talk to you soon and see you even soon as well.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.